Jerry and Charlie riding through the airwaves, bringing you the heat. Come on, pull your fans. Now get up out your seat. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. Now you're listening to Chase Station.
Today is Thursday, October 10th. Your New York Mets are NLCS bound. The division series has come to a close. The Mets have won it 3-1. They handled the Phillies pretty much every step of the way. And in a game that felt like it could have been defined by frustrations and missed opportunities, its legacy will be the greatest home run hit in the history of Citi Field. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jack aka Jolly. Joining me is Jerry Blevins. Jerry, I know how you're doing. You're doing great.
I am doing great, man. This is what a W. Like that was beautiful to watch the fans celebrate at Citi Field, see all the emotion come out of the players. It was special, man. But what a game. A huge home run, grand slam. Unbelievable. It was so boring. What it was the sixth inning.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's make it a little dramatic. Uh no, dude. Lindor's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He look
Um,
he looks so confident, so locked in, just like, all right, I did my job. Like I'm lunch pail,
Steady.
going to work. It's unreal. Like it's inspiring to watch. I love it so much. Just a beautiful game.
Like in an era where, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but in an era where you're allowed to express yourself and flip the bat and toss the helmet, all that like fun stuff to celebrate, there's something about Francisco Lindor hitting one of the biggest home runs in franchise history and not even smiling. Just like head down. All right, time to go run the bases and score. And then we'll conduct business after. Because I think he's not going to let all of it out until the job is finished in his mind. And that is stone cold, man. He's just a stone cold killer right now. It's awesome.
I agree. I think that's like I don't even it's so fun to watch a guy just do the thing at such a high level. Like anybody watching people do something like Caitlin Clark's run in the NCAA tournament, like it's fun to watch that. Lindor's on one of these, and he's been the difference is he's been on it for like 4 months,
Yeah.
5 months. Yeah, something crazy. Just like and now when it counts. So like baseball is so strange where it's this huge marathon of a season. And then every single game matters. Like nothing matters, no individual game matters really. And then every game matters. And a lot of people can do pretty good on the season, but when
Mm.
it's crunch time, a lot of guys crumble a little bit. It's different. The pressure's on. You can't accumulate. Lindor, unreal. Um, I know postseason's not supposed to like influence the MVP vote. It influenced mine.
We, uh, we all know. We all know who's going to win it, and we all know who should win it, and that's fine.
I don't
That's
know who
okay.
should win it. I still don't know. He doesn't play defense.
He
Anyway,
doesn't
well,
play
that's
defense.
he doesn't play defense.
Whatever, it's fine. Maybe we'll decide it with the NLCS.
Well, dude,
If you win the NLCS, you win the MVP. How about that?
oh, well,
Um, no, it's so cool to see how far. And we're gonna go through the game. We're gonna go through the series. We're gonna go through all of that.
yeah.
But obviously, the moment is the grand slam in this game. I don't know, man. I know that he was great last year. He was great 2 years ago. But this version of Francisco Lindor feels very different. It
It's
feels, at one point, me and you talked about. I think I wanted Pete Alonso to have a C on his chest, which I don't feel that way anymore. But at one point, when Pete was having one of those runs and putting the team on his back, I made that argument. And I remember we talked about it, and neither of us brought up Lindor because I think neither of us really believed that he had that leadership capability. We knew that he was a very talented player, a great hitter, and a generational defender, but he hadn't really stepped into his own. When we had that discussion the wound of the thumbs down in 2021 was still fresh. I think there were a lot of contributors on the team at the time. Now I can't imagine anybody else leading this team. One of the coolest things about them celebrating last night was that it was one of the only celebrations I've ever seen that didn't take place on the mound. It took place at shortstop because that's where the leader was. They all went
Yeah.
straight to their guy.
It's so organic too. Like
Yeah,
it's like, you talk about your leader, the magnetism. It was at shortstop. That's crazy, right behind second base. Like that was pretty cool and deserving. What a
yeah.
performance overall. Once
What a
again,
performance by the boys.
Carlos Mendoza pulling all the right strings. Unbelievable. I loved everything he did. I loved, bringing Diaz into that game. Um,
Yeah,
when guy was cruising, you're gonna need him, and he almost, he made you sweat, which is what he does. And then he mowed him down, and he
yep.
looked good doing it. He had some good sliders. His fastball was there, 101 on his last pitch.
101.
101. Not like rounded up. They rounded down to 101.
Yeah,
He went uh and then now you have days of rest to kind of get the biggest question mark. You know, that'll be the next step. Does the break stop their momentum? I don't think it will, but it's possible. Things because they
yeah.
haven't had a chance to breathe yet.
Yes. I think it will take more than, 3 days of sitting down to kill whatever momentum this team has built up, but it is going to be different because they've been going nonstop for a month straight at this point, just constant battling for their lives. Now they finally get a chance to breathe. I think you could see that on the field yesterday with the celebrations too. Like, I think they know the job's not finished, but I think they also realize oh my God, like we actually made it here. Like we actually get to take a break and like breathe and soak it in front of the home crowd. None more than Brandon Nimmo, who had, tears in his eyes and was taking in City Field for what it was. The environment last night was as good as it was when I was there, if not better. You could tell from getting the bases loaded in the first two innings and Quintana pitching the way that he did, that the crowd was a dam waiting to burst, like overflowing with water, just waiting to erupt. And they got the best possible moment to erupt on. So any fan that was there yesterday, lifetime moment. I'm happy for all of you to be in that park when that happened because that is not only City Field history, that's Mets history. That's one of the biggest hits this team will ever see, and you were there for it.
It was clutch. It was a magical moment. And City Field Mets fans showed out. It was wonderful showing. Um, as a former player that wore the uniform, as a fan and somebody that covers the game now, I always like when a TV moment comes on I always want the Mets fans to, I don't know why, like have a proud moment in front
Sure.
of the whole nation. Um, they did that. They kept the like even when it was like lulling a little bit, they pushed their boys to go farther. Like it just felt it was a wonderful showing from the baseball product to the stadium, how great it looked, to how the fans are. Like they're incredible fans, and it's nice to have a national spotlight to show how great they are. So it was cool.
Yeah, and as we go through the motions of this game, I want to give some claps for Jose Quintana, who did the job again, man.
Yeah,
5 innings,
man.
no earned runs. He is a postseason performer, to say the least. There were some scares along the way, but he's now pitched in two series clinching games, and he's put up zeros in both, which is pretty remarkable stuff from him. Um, the pitching path in this game was great. It was exactly what we drew up. It was Reed, Edwin Diaz, and David Peterson. Reed got to play in the sixth. Peterson looked amazing in his outing. He got away with that Bohm hit, which I think was a fair ball. But you know what? When Magic's in the air, it's in the air, baby. We're going to take that. And then, of course, Diaz in the ninth inning, giving everyone a scare, but, getting the job done. Just really, really happy, really proud. Not a, words escape me in moments like this, I think. They've escaped me since last night. Um, just a just a just a really great way to do it. I don't want to say I'm glad they lost game two, but it was really cool to get two wins on their home turf and sweep it on their home turf.
Yeah, this is going to be, regardless of who's coming into town, it's going to be an intimidating environment,
Yeah.
for whoever shows up. Um, yeah, Quintana was great, man. Great. This is what you want from him. He was very selective in when he came into the zone,
Mm.
and he was precise with where he put the ball. I think the double to Harper was the third inning. Did he
Yeah, third inning.
the third inning where it got a little dicey? Fourth inning. Harper walked, Castellanos doubled, and then boom, reached on the error.
Yes.
And then he got Real Muto to pop up and Stott to fly out. Um, yeah, outside of that, like it wasn't Ranger Suarez got outpitched and he got lucky. Like
Yeah.
the Mets were terrible with runners in scoring position. That's one of the things like Jose Iglesias feels like all you got to do is spin him sliders in the dirt right now because he wants to be
Yeah.
the hero. I think he wants it too much and pitchers will chew that up. Again, 3 days off, you can reset that and be like, look, you're swinging at terrible pitches. Like make him come to you, whatever the case may be. But he dodged major bullets and then they took the lead 1-0. And it was like, dude, we really just let that go and they squeak one through. What the hell?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, after watching the way he pitched, I wouldn't have guessed that he would have made it to the fifth inning. I think he threw 50 pitches in the first two innings,
it was over 50 in 2 innings.
and the Mets just couldn't see his curveball. Like, I don't think he threw it for a strike like one. I think he threw it for a
That's the
strike one time to Lindor, who roped it foul in the very first at bat, and he never threw it for a strike again. But
It
it was
just
working.
it's so tantalizing to see it come up and you're like, ooh, and then it just buried. And guys wanted the hit.
Yeah.
Again, I like the aggressiveness and it's something that you can learn from. But after that, like Lindor's like the at bats were huge. Another Jeff Hoffman. This is where this is the difference here.
Yep.
Both offenses did well. Both offenses stars stepped up at times. Um, Both starting pitchers seemed okay, but
Yeah.
it was the bullpen. The bullpen. The Mets bullpen held up, and the Phillies bullpen failed them. Their all-stars failed them. That's the difference.
It's absolutely the difference. And I really do think that initially, like I would say the first two games, I thought Thompson did. Yeah, I think he pushed all the right buttons and got the result one night and didn't the other. I think his guys failed him. I said yesterday that I thought it was really weird that Thompson used Estevez in a 62 game. I know that you wanted to keep the Mets, within reach, kind of, but it ended up not working. He gave up a run. That was so big because the guy who got the run scoring hit off him was Francisco Lindor. You let Lindor see Estevez in a moment that may have not mattered, but that became so much more significant because now you're in this hairy situation created by Jeff Hoffman. You bring in your closer at the right time, in my opinion, but you already showed the other team's best player what that fastball looks like, that 101 mile per hour heater.
Yeah,
I had to think that it made an influence on that at bat and brought us that moment.
I'm sure it did. It was an interesting choice for sure. Down
Yeah.
6-2 to throw your, yeah. But I mean, look, Jose Alvarado he's one of their guys, had pitched 2/3 of an inning this whole series.
Yeah.
Um, Carlos Estevez, their closer we talked about, 2 2/3, had two hits and a walk, big ones. Jeff Hoffman threw an inning and a third, but he gave up 6 runs in that.
Yeah. Whoa.
Um, Matt Strom threw 2 innings, gave up 4 runs. Ranger Suarez, or I'm sorry, Jose Ruiz gave up 4 hits in an inning and a third. They just hit their bullpen. And it was a big one from Lindor, but mostly it was just chipping away, taking advantage of what you do, what you're giving them. It was wonderful to watch. Like that's how you win series is by getting to their bullpen because they're going to get to them quick, regardless of who you're playing.
Strom, Hoffman, and Estevez were all all-stars, and the Mets made them look like nobodies in this series. It was really cool to see. I know they didn't do it, and I know that I said it endlessly, and I'm gonna die on this hill. Especially with how their bullpen performed. I think Zach Wheeler should have got used in this game. Your season is on the line. Ranger Houdini'd his way through 4 innings. I think the Phillies needed 3 clean innings to win this game, and I really, when they started bringing in their relievers, I was like, we're gonna win this game because they didn't tack on enough. 1 run on a little infield dribbler is not enough to put fear in your opponent. They didn't have the long ball going. It was clear their offense, besides Nick Castellanos, wasn't right. I thought you needed some zeros, man, and they decided to sit Zach Wheeler, save him for Game 5, and that's a Game 5 that's never going to come. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say from here. I don't mind it. Again, if you're going to win, you got to win with your best players. Like what's the point if
Yeah,
you're just delaying the inevitable if your guys can't perform? It makes sense. It's easy to say now that they lost that they should have thrown Zach Wheeler, but I don't mind it. The bullpen failed them,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, the bullpen, and also, I mean, the middle of this lineup. I mean, I'm going to read you some numbers. JT Realmuto goes hitless in the NLDS, 0 for 11. Brandon Marsh goes 1 for 13. Alec Boehm goes 1 for 13. Trey Turner goes 3 for 15. Bryson Stott 2 for 11. Like, it was really, Kyle Schwarber hit the leadoff home run in Game 1 and then went 1 for 15 after that. It was the Nick Castellanos show, and then they just didn't pitch to Bryce Harper, and that was it. That was all the Mets had to do. I mean, the pitching held this potent offense completely at bay once they
Yeah.
got past 3 and 4, which is just not how I had this series going. I had it going as like, these are going to be high scoring affairs. We got to go bang for bang with them. If they homer, we got a homer. That's what Game 2 was like. Every other game, the Phillies were just absolutely they scored in Game 1, 3, and 5 in 27 innings, 5 runs. That is not your Philadelphia Phillies. That is some other team. So I think that regardless of what happens, like, this Phillies team is going to be different the next time we see them. I think that a lot of change is on the horizon for them. But boy, oh boy, this Mets team just they thoroughly outplayed the NL East division winner that they fell. At one point, the Mets were 17 and a half games behind the Philadelphia Phillies in the standings. And now we're advancing past them. And it wasn't close. It really wasn't.
Yeah, you're right about that. The Mets had a chance to sweep. They
Yeah,
didn't. Then
they probably
they
should
beat them
have.
up. Yeah, it probably should have, but still, again, it's a testament. It's a testament to this team, the momentum that they have, the magic that they've got going. They beat a good, really, really good team in the Philadelphia Phillies, and they did it in convincing fashion. Let's talk about the Mets, though. Vientos,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude,
Vientos.
dude,
Unbelievable.
9 for 16, 4 extra base hits, the most hits by a Met in the division series ever. A franchise record is your first time third baseman, Mark Vientos. Dude, he's a star.
He is a star.
He's just a star, man. No other
Yeah.
words for it.
It's fun to watch. Seeing a one of your homegrown guys blossom,
Yeah,
seeing the maturity because nobody, outside of Mets fans, nobody really pays attention to the ups and downs and, the almost made the teams to, you know, walk off homer, get an option down that night.
right.
Like
Can you believe that happens still? I still can't believe that
it
happened.
is. But it was bereavement list and the way he handled it, the maturity. He said, look, I understand it's a limited time, regardless of what I do up here. I'm heading back. Might as well hit a walk-off homer. That's
Make
pretty
some
fun.
noise. Why
Yeah,
not?
man. And he stepped up in the biggest spots, like just huge. So that was awesome. JD Martinez took some really good swings.
Hmm.
It was nice to see him work a walk. Limited at bats between him and Winker, but I like that combo. It keeps them
Yeah.
both rested. They're both kind of banged up, old men. with their bruised backs
Of course.
and dislocated
It's a
hips and all
long
the above.
season.
Nimmo took some good at bats, some clutch hits. I think it was a tough ask. Ranger Suarez matches up really well
Yeah.
against Nimmo. That's a tough draw for him. But all your guys hit. I mean, let's see. Winker, Iglesias, Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso, JD Martinez, and Mark Vientos all hit 250 or higher.
Take that.
That's
I mean,
right.
I'm looking at you look at the top four OPSs on the team. Mark Vientos, 1.6. Holy shit. Pete Alonso, 1.2. Brandon Nimmo, 944. Francisco Lindor, 906. Your top four hitters, your four stars, all showed up, all had signature moments, all hit a home run. That is a recipe for winning postseason games. I was having conversations with Yankee fans at the office who are on the edge, looking down, thinking about jumping. And I said, if you have star power on your team, it will come through at some point. And maybe that's not true, but it is true for the New York Mets because their stars see the spotlight, stand under it, and thrive. And that is dangerous for any other team that's going to face us.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, that's it. I mean, Pete Alonso came alive. He looked really good. Took some good swings. Didn't always like come through. Some really good swings. Starling Marte went 1 for 11 in this
I was
series.
just about to say, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like
No,
he hit
because
500.
but he also moved some runners over. He did, get jammed a lot, but he knows what he's trying to do and where he's at in the order. I love Martin, right? And how it's working out right now.
Yeah, me
Tyrone
too.
Taylor also 1 for 11, but his contributions, just like Marte, are a little bit different. Alvarez he's close, I think, to having a moment. He's
He's
still,
big right now. He's big.
yeah, yeah. But he's still a threat. Like that, him hitting ninth, pretty cool.
Yep.
That's a good lineup.
More
So,
so him and like him behind the dish yesterday for Diaz was big for me. Like, because
oh, he
that was
made,
good.
yeah. So on probably like a couple of weeks to go in the season, I got critical of Francisco Alvarez on the pre and post game because he wasn't blocking balls.
Mm.
One of the worst in the game statistically on blocking balls. But the where I got on him was when there's runners on second and third, and you have to, it's a lack of focus because he would go to scoop a ball that's clearly blockable. Like that
Mm.
ball out of the pitcher's hand is not going to make it to the plate. So there's no reason for you to try to frame it. That's when you get your body in position to block it. I think the day that I said that, he had some huge blocks. Like he's not watching the pregame. Not,
He might
I'm
be
not, I'm not.
Emmy Award winner, Jerry. What do you
It means he's
mean?
got deeper problems. But since that moment, like there's different things where he's blocking balls when he needs to, and it's a mindset switch because it's a grind of a season. You develop bad habits, and if you don't address them quickly, they lock themselves in for a long time. Like throwing the bases, guys that have a hard time throwing the bases, if they don't go work on that, it's going to eat them up and they won't be able to do it. But he's doing a great job of blocking baseballs. And it's taken him from an awesome game caller to an awesome defender. And I and understand like these are big moments, but that's what you need from your guy. I'm very impressed with him defensively. He's been better at throwing because he's putting himself in proper position, anticipating what
Hmm.
might happen. So just wanted to give him that tip of the cap for advancing even more on the defensive side.
So let's do this ninth inning like properly because honestly, the game itself it's not very eventful. It's the Mets build themselves up, they fall down, and then they finally get the big hit, and they're just kind of riding their pitching. So we did a live stream on Shea Station yesterday. I put out a poll and I said, who do you want to see get the ninth inning? Do you want to see David Peterson in for his technically fourth inning of work because he finished the sixth? Or do you want to see your closer? And 60% of people said bring in Edwin. And I was like, okay, we'll see. I wanted Peterson to come back out, but I understand you got to get your closer right. I had no issue with it. The only issue was, what if we lose? You know, whatever. Diaz comes out, spikes a couple sliders in the JT at bat. Not a good sign. Fastballs are, they're not sailing, but they're not strikes. But bad omen first off. Then he goes only fastballs to Stott. Can't locate it. The one that gets called a strike is not a strike. It was a 3-0 kind of, throw him a bone kind of thing. Good.
They were close.
They were close, but I don't think
They
it was a
should have been
strike.
close. Like
Yeah.
you got to throw strikes there.
Yeah.
But
That was, 3-0. You can pour one in, and he was barely nibbling the top of the zone. So that's, I believe, 10 pitches, 9 balls or 8 balls, and one of them, one of the strikes should have been a ball as well. Cody Clemens comes up, and I think he decides, okay, I'm just going to throw my fastball until I can throw it consistently for a strike. Throws 2 in a row, tries the slider, and almost hits Clemens, which imagine how disastrous this inning becomes if that ball hits
he
Clemens.
doesn't get out of the way there.
If he doesn't get out of the way, I mean, Clemens, you got to keep your leg in there,
Dude,
man.
for real.
Take one
That's
for the
why I'm
team.
always impressed by guys that lean into shit because your natural instinct is to get out of the way of a ball flying at you.
I mean, I understand that, but like, dude, season's on the line. Get on base. What are we
Anticipate.
doing?
Francisco
Anticipate.
Alvarez block a ball. Cody Clemens get beat up.
Block a ball, Cody
We got
Clemens.
ice. We got
With your
ice,
leg,
boys.
you'll be okay. So he skips out of the way. It's a 2-1 count, and then Diaz just throws 2 strikes right down the middle. Says, "If you beat me, you beat me." But he didn't beat him because he's Edwin Diaz. It's a strikeout. Marsh's fly ball didn't look. It looked like a can of corn to me. Apparently, it was 100 off the bat, and it went 350, which I don't know if that's right.
Went 336.
336. Jams him and gets him there. The Schwarber at bat
Hold on.
sent me. Go
Bader
ahead.
Bader threw the ball to the wrong.
Yeah, he let the runner go to third. I didn't even
Yeah,
like
Real Muto
process
was like
it.
faking, and then he goes, "Oh shit!" He like because Real Muto jumped off the bag,
Yeah,
expecting the throw to go in front of him, and it went behind him. He goes, "Oh, okay." And took third. I was like, "Dude, Bader, what are
wake
you
up.
doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?"
But
So
also in
that
that moment, I was like, whatever. He can have whatever base he wants.
because it's gonna come down to Diaz
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, you're right. I was like, but that's a little mental error that shouldn't happen. Okay.
What was your reaction when so Diaz gets Marsh on 4 fastballs? He gets Clemens with 4 fastballs and 1 slider that almost hits him. What is your reaction when Kyle Schwarber steps up to the plate, knowing that Edwin Diaz has thrown 10 straight fastballs essentially, and that Schwarber is one of the most prolific home run hitters in postseason history, and Diaz opens him up with a slider right down the middle?
I thought it was the right pitch call, and it had the decent shape because he's got to be sitting fastball there
Right.
and up because it's been up.
I was
So
terrified.
yeah, I was a little nervous because again, he's Kyle Schwarber. He's earned this reputation. And I was like, oh shit, it's a good pitch. Like it had depth. Like it ended
Yeah.
up middle away, which is not a great location. But when you're expecting 99 and you get 92, that's like little difference. You swing over top of it 99% of the time.
The biggest thing for me was you said it at the beginning, but getting Diaz in, getting your closer right, that pitch was confidence. That pitch was, I have not yet thrown a good slider. Here comes the most dangerous hitter in their lineup with one swing can tie the game. Let's just try it. Let's see. And he throws his best one. The location isn't great, but you can tell by Schwarber's reaction, he's sitting dead red. He's waiting for the heater. He's ready to get the barrel out. All of a sudden that wrinkle comes in. He's like, shit. Okay. Now what? So he's in a scramble. Diaz throws 2 more sliders after that.
He throws a one that backs up on him out for a ball that stayed away from Schwarber. Then he throws a really good one that starts in and goes in off a little close to that danger zone for a lefty down and in. But he executes it and Schwarber barrels it foul. Like
Way foul. I
that's
mean,
the
he
only
golfed
place
it.
you can hit it. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
only place when he executes a slider, it's near impossible to keep fair. And he barreled it up and he yanked it foul. Um, and then he blows 101. 101, his hardest ball by like 2 or 3 miles an hour, dotted up like he nailed it. I was like, that's very impressive. Impressive. this is why you bring him into this moment, not just because you need your guy in, but because you want to see him get locked in. Hopefully, this carries over because those two walks to open the inning, they're going to bite you at some point. At some
Yep.
point, and they have already, but you gotta iron out those details.
You forget what Edwin Diaz can be when he goes through one of those lulls where he can't throw a strike and he's getting teed up. You forget how nasty he can be. And in any of the prior four at bats, none of them felt particularly dominant. Even the Clemens strikeout felt like you're walking on eggshells. But when Schwarber stepped in, he channeled something. I don't know what he found, whatever he was looking for sure, because he looked fantastic there. And just he said after the game in Philly, he was exhausted. Today, he felt better. Getting him those extra days of rest, I think, was big. Now he gets three more. And it's so nice to not only clinch at home, get the win at home, win the series, but to get it with your closer on the mound, to get it with a strikeout. I know it doesn't really mean anything, but
It means something.
it's cool for the fans to pop off with Edwin at the same time. You don't have to wait for the ball to fall in someone's glove or a throw to be made. It's just bam, it's right there and it's over, and you're all celebrating together. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like ending it on a strikeout, it's the pitcher in me, but it's way cooler.
It's way
Ending it
cooler.
on a strikeout is way cooler. Just
Everything about it was just way cool.
so here we are. They beat the big bad Phillies, and the Phillies are the big bad wolves of the playoffs. Okay, they beat
Yes,
them.
they
Now
are.
what? Now
Now
what?
what? That's
They get
exactly what
three.
I said after the game.
So this gap that they have of probably 3 days here before they play either LA or San Diego, um, their bullpen gets rested. Their
Big time.
starters get rested. Their hitters can, slow it down and see and improve on areas, watch their at bats. Um, yeah, and the biggest thing that they were fighting in Milwaukee and especially in Philly was this overused bullpen.
Hmm.
The the Phil Maton gets a chance to rest. Edwin Diaz, thank goodness, gets a
Thank
chance to.
God.
He hasn't been locked down, but he has been a hero because he's thrown so much, so many pitches. It's insane to think about. Of course, he was gassed, but he was fighting his way through it. I tip of the cap to him too because some of it was self-inflicted with the high ball count and
Hmm.
walks but he gutted it through. He never made an excuse for himself, never let it make him unavailable. Like he was probably going to be down anyway, regardless of how many pitches he threw the days that he wasn't available. So um it's big boy. That's what Mendy said. It's big boy time. Like
It's
this
big
is
boy
what you
time.
do. And he stepped up. So hopefully he irons some things out and becomes a lot smoother for him and us to watch. But he was huge.
I want to give a little round of applause to our lefties, man. Our lefties. This is a Southpaw team. I'm sure that makes you, warm and fuzzy in the heart.
I was
But
lonely for some of my years in a Mets uniform.
it's been a while, and now we have a trio of lefties that are just dominating. Since NL Wildcard Game 3, David Peterson, 6 1/3 innings, no earned runs. Sean Manaea starts, 7 innings, one earned run. Not a run that he let up either. Jose Quintana, 11 innings, no earned runs. That's 24 1/3 innings, one earned run from three of your starting pitching options. The Mets rotation is firing on all cylinders. That doesn't even include Luis Severino, who looked great in his start up until the very last out. So, I mean, with this, if you have your top four hitting like they're hitting, the four best hitters on the team are your four stars. Your four starters are also pitching the best ball they've pitched all season long. The only thing separating this team from playing perfect ball was a fully rested bullpen. And now you have that. So, like, why not? Why not these New York Mets who are going to get 3 days of rest, go to California with a head full of steam, and take on a team that has to play an extra game and get that 1 day of rest? I don't know. That's a big advantage for this team winning in four.
Yeah, I definitely think so. The team that yeah, like you said, they were taxed. They haven't had a chance to take a deep breath. They've been playing multiple games in a row nonstop. And the days that they had off or travel days and or just, sleep in days, they're going to have real rest now, real time to kind of take a deep breath, get your treatment, get your bodies better. They'll keep their foot on the gas pedal
Oh yeah.
for sure. That's the one thing with this team, the leadership that you don't have to worry about. They understand what's next. It was nice to see them really celebrate last night. Like that was
Mm.
like they celebrated in Milwaukee, then they really celebrated last night because they're at home, they got their families and everybody's around them, the Mets fans. It was cool. But this
All of
is
it.
this is going to be nice because now you can set things up for yourself.
It's like having a bye.
It is. It is. Except you got to play on the road now.
Yeah, but you know what? That doesn't, they seem to like doing that, if I'm being honest, Jerry.
They don't mind it.
They don't seem to mind at all. Yeah, I mean, not too much to say beyond that. I mean, a game defined by one big hit and one big inning by Edwin Diaz, a series where the bats came alive and the pitching held one of the most potent offenses at bay. It's just, you don't draw it up ever being this easy or this fun, but
Fun. Yeah, it
that's
wasn't
what it's
easy.
been. No,
Yeah, yeah, it
easy is the
was
wrong word, but
correct. Yeah, you don't expect it. Well, I mean, kind of expect them to kind of do it because they've been doing it. But
they've just been doing it.
it's nice to be reassured. How do you think the rotation's going to set up?
I think they go with Senga as the opener again in game one. I think they might run that back. And then you have Peterson on full rest, so you can use him as your bulk guy again.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, that recipe worked in game one when the Phillies, came out, they came out hot, lead off home run. They were feeling themselves, crowd was on their side. That pitching combo worked to give you 6 innings, one earned run. I'd run that back.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it's going to go.
Or Manaya if you want. Like that's fine with me too. He's your ace. Why not? But get
I
Senga
think
some work too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Singa's addition has been like such a nice. You actually have a piece that you're going to use, as a starter, an opener, however you want to do it, because he's not built up. But if he does get built up a little bit, if he's pushing 3, 4 innings of dominance, he gets that velo up a little bit, that the ghost fork looking good. I mean, what an addition. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool because Mania is going second. Like if you win game one on the road and then they have to
Mm,
face Mania game two, like
that's pretty cool.
for real.
Hey, and it's definitely worth mentioning. Jeff McNeil will be on your NLCS roster. He said he expects to be there. He's going to go work out in the AFL. I'm really interested to see how they use him. I know Iglesias hasn't looked great, but he's still been, your catalyst for a large portion of the season. I wonder if Jeff starts, if he's off the
No, no
bench. I have
way.
no idea.
He'll be off the bench. He's gonna take Acuna's role.
Oh, I feel bad for Luis Sanjo.
I do too, but look, bud, life's life.
Nice life.
McNeil's a more dangerous weapon off the bench as a as an offensive weapon because he's going to put the ball in play most likely. And defensively, he's superior as well. So hopefully,
Yeah.
if he's not rusty, um, he's a weapon to have out off the bench. Remember when he was going so bad
Mm,
and everybody was like, "Is he going to get traded?" I was like, first of all, his contract is untradeable,
yeah.
and more importantly, he is an absolute weapon. He deployed. He's Ben Zobrist,
Yeah.
defensively. He could play everywhere. And then if he starts hitting, or he's always dangerous to like be a pest and put the ball in play. I mean, how many times did the Mets not put the ball in play with runners,
Right.
with bases loaded? Like,
It's a great example.
yeah. So, sorry, Acuna. I imagine it'll be you. And I think Iglesias, regardless of some of his low moments, um, deserves to continue to start. And I think it would be a bad morale, bad team, bad look. So I imagine he'll still be the guy.
I need those magic hands at second base. I need it.
Yeah.
Jerry, this has been a very fun ride. Hey, not only do the Mets get a break, we get a break because we've been going pretty much every day. So that'll be nice.
Yes,
I probably won't
sir.
see you till Monday. Um, Enjoy this, Mets fans. I'm trying to say that at the end of every episode.
Yeah,
Just
man, enjoy it.
soak it all in.
Ref, wear your Met stuff all over the place. I ran into a guy wearing a Phillies hat, and I had my Mets hat on, and he gave me a look, and I was like, "Sorry, man, you're going to sleep." He's like, "We'll see." And then
Very cl-
they were up 1-0 at the time. I was like, "Okay,
okay, pal.
okay,
Okay,
pal."
pal. Very classy of you, I gotta say. I would have said some worse things.
We're in Ohio. It's not in Philly or in New York.
Oh God.
We're on neutral territory there, so
Yeah, Mets fans, enjoy this. Make sure you tune
enjoy it.
into Game 5, Padres Dodgers tomorrow.
Going to be I mean, the National League is good, has been great. That's to me, first of all, San Diego Dodgers is the best rivalry in baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be Yankees Red Sox. That's gone. These guys hate each other.
Real
Their fan
venom.
bases hate each other. Their players like don't really appreciate how it's going. Like you saw it all when the
Oh
Mets
yeah.
Phillies, all the guys are like friendly on the field. Well, not all the guys. Like Harper's not shaking anybody's hand.
Yeah.
He's beast mode. Um, but like, most of the guys are friendly. You don't see that happening in the Dodgers Padres series. These guys do not appreciate each other.
I'm hoping they exhaust each other by battling it out in Game 5, just using everything they got to beat each other, and they come to the NLCS just exhausted. That's what I want, personally.
I'm for it too.
All right, I think that's
All
all
right,
I
guys.
got, Jerry.
Same.
Great show, great series, great month of October. It is going to be October 13th on Sunday, and the Mets will still be playing baseball. And that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty damn cool.
Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. Still work to be done,
Job's not finished.
but
Eight
enjoy
more
it.
wins. 8 more wins.
All right. Let's go
Let's go
Mets.
Mets. Let's go Mets.
Shea Station, Jerry and Charlie. Shea Station, Jerry and Charlie. Thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you next time, where we'll be back.
Station.